we've updated the title here. All right, so a lot of these videos are typically, right now, about 20 minutes or 30 minutes. So let's begin. Reflecting on my 4 years away from uploading between October 2019 and October of 2023. Taxi driver Gnosis, which I have playing in the background. All right. So I want to thank the person that did come to leave a like. Okay. So let's talk about it. By December of 2019, I had been on national radio. And after going on national radio and talking about my second book, and only like 2 people, I think, out of my whole audience told me they even got the book. If more of you got the book, maybe let me know sometime. And how it helped you show people in your community and your family what is coming next. I mean, it really isn't that complicated. If you have a family that has any type of higher education or any type of thinking critical skills and you're not demonically possessed, you should be able to understand this idea of cause and effect. If you do not understand the idea of cause and effect, what are you doing with a degree from XYZ University? The son of what I talk about is cause and effect. If you and others don't understand the reality of cause and effect in the conspiracy movement, you cannot be helped. And the worst is yet to come for your health, for your brain, and everything about you. Got it? Good coffee from Sprouts won't save you from what's coming. But true morality and a true belief that all lives matter, not a woke movement. That's the ticket. That's the key. Not $10, $20, $30 superfoods and whatnot from Sprouts that most people will never be able to afford. That's fake spirituality. And so when I was offline, my health hurt. The reason my health hurt is because while I needed to get away from people, I didn't really want to get away from people. The problem was, at that time and now, take no offense, but some of you are way friendlier now than the folks in 2019, and some of you are new. Or some of you may have watched me in the past, but you didn't fuck with me. Or if you did talk to me, it was brief, right? But the energy was dark. And when you're living off grid and other people aren't living off grid and you're ethnic, and you're talking to people that believe in the ethno-state conspiracy, the idea of the all white regions of the US, and people with, say, ancestors from, say, the Middle East or whatever, the idea that they want to be allowed in the ethno-state, it seemed to me from an intuitive perspective that my haters were jealous and were on a path to removing from me the only thing that I ever had, okay? And so the reason I quit in 2019 was a sense that my life was in danger, that my audience wanted to murder me or see me killed. Through slander and the slander that was created, I was not convinced that my audience gave a fuck or even took it seriously. And so even to this day, I think if there's an agenda possibly to murder me, even if the people that took part in the slander and saying that I punched someone from behind and all these things, like they're acting like those things won't send you to suicide, which I'm not planning to do. I just want you to know that. But they're acting like that's normal. I don't know how some of them grew up. I don't know if they were molested as children, but I really wonder what their dads did to them. You know what I mean? When they themselves are dads and should have been more focused on making love to their wife, things of that nature, maybe making more kids, going off grid themselves, not fucking with some dude. And so COVID, which is a bad thing, the COVID thing they launched, it actually catapulted people to greater successes and migration to freedom. In other words, COVID, all that free money, and who knows what some businesses got with PPE. Notice how a lot of people talk about the people that want to have everything for free, yet they want all my content for free. Yet they have whatever they got from the COVID event. A lot of people hit the 777 if you're slow and abnormally stupid when COVID happened. Doesn't mean it was good. A lockdown was good. No, it was bad, bad, bad. We went into debt. But some people, their lives went awesome. Right? Things happened a certain way and they didn't suffer. They went to the top, like that song Motley Crue. Take me to the top. They were able to leave one job and move on to a dream job of working for themselves and being in nature and doing ice fishing. And in a way, they were then being rewarded for being boys. And that's the nature of planet Earth. All right? So let's recenter on the main topic here because I'm all over the map. You can learn a lot from me. You can learn a lot from me. It says we have 4 viewers. We are streaming through OBS, okay? And so I can do things that can impress you. Hey, baby, what do you think of this? Because of me? Because of little old me? Bro, stop trolling. Get the fuck out of here. Like, and the thing is, I'll never know if that was legit. You know, here's another one. Put them on the glass. I'm such a pimp. And the thing is, like, people today, they have this, oh my God, did this scare you as hell? It's YouTube, bro. It's little chicks on YouTube. And see, don't hate the messenger because I'm a super uber stud. You deserve more. Get the fuck out of here. So we'll go ahead and show you the slideshow, right? Are we in the slideshow now? We're on the slideshow. This is basically what we did earlier. I talked over the slides. All right. So reflecting on my 4 years away from uploading between October 2000, it got me away from the people because many people were toxic and were choosing to not be empathetic at all. Okay, you can't tell someone you love them and then vote for someone who will hurt them. So people were insulting me that were Trump supporters. I never recalled Biden or self-described Obama supporters, but those people have a history of previously liking me under Bush and then throwing me away for not liking, you know, Obama. And so I decided to not upload during COVID. I did not trust the COVID event, but my friend did influence me, who gave me housing, to not be a conspiracy theorist. And I decided to not be a conspiracy theorist for a while in the mainstream way, but I always was a conspiracy theorist with COVID in a very unique way. And then I adopted certain theories that I've never shared with you, that basically I felt that certain aspects of society, make of it what you will, those of you concerned about COVID with masks, if you're listening, you might appreciate this. There was an aspect of the conspiracy that I saw where they were infecting conspiracy researchers to hate people concerned with their health, to just straight hate the person with the mask, to just straight berate and abuse that poor Latina or white worker who works the door at XYZ place for minimum wage. Then all of a sudden there were all these viral videos of jackass dudes being dickheads over a mask as if somebody's trying to grab their pussy or something. Just absolute, like, so you can be against the jab. You could be, but you can still have manners, you know? And so it was the whole rise. And then also you had people using the terminology purebloods. And it was because of that that I began to trust the official story about COVID more, because of people adopting pureblood language. Okay. And the Nazis and anti-COVID people standing side by side in Germany, like that shit was highly, highly concerning to me. I also like to reflect, as far as images are concerned, on the most beautiful things I've ever seen, just in case you're wondering. Okay. And so there's something wrong with appreciating beauty. Now, this right here, what I'm showing you, is not beauty. In the period in which, you know, warning nuclear map shows areas where 70% of the population would die. Here's that area: New York, Portland, Florida, areas in Texas, areas in California. I said that, San Francisco, LA. And so a lot of people were feeling like her, like me during COVID, just like her, just like her, just like her. By the way, in New York, in the area in which my mother lives, this happened in 1979. Taxi Driver is all about that time period, all right? And so because the "you deserve more" culture, women never talked to me or liked me when I was off grid, so there was never any incentive to continue to talk about human trafficking to women, because women stopped talking to me completely. And the whole time I prayed that real decent women like exes would email me and ask me if I was alive. Nobody did. Instead, what happened was creepy people in comment section would just start speculating about me dying, and then people would pop up in the comment section and say, "Expect the worst." And then people would show that they had no intuition, that were my fans, and would say things like, "Oh my God." And then some of the people commenting were just straight vampires. Their identities were not known. They weren't like legit people. And so the people that were watching me for years, that heard me complain about harassment, heard me complain about depression, heard me complain of mental health issues, never in any of the inquisitive nature in the comment sections about why I took off time from the internet was there ever any coherent explanation from a viewer that had a brain cell working. Unsubscribe right now if you have a fucking problem with me. Like, where were you folks mentally in 2020 when I wasn't around? I clearly showed you how much pain I was in. So in that period of me not being online, what percentage of the audience was intuitive enough to go, "This dude needs a break"? He's talking about this, he's talking about that, he's talking about suicidalness, and he's not even suicidal, he's confused. He needs fucking help, man. And so I knew that. I knew I needed help. I knew I was afraid. And I began to take the steps to get away from my land. And for years, I beat myself up over it and hated myself. Fuck, man. I got to take these images off. It was very troublesome. I wrote, amen. He never gave me any advice. I credit my mom about it. She never gave me any advice. All she said, though, was don't go to that place. Don't go to that place. Don't go to that place. And I was upset with her and wrote her some letters and said to her, frankly, which she never replied, you know, but it almost seems like you're more interested in the status part of me being in Colorado. And these ideas were matured in me through my friend, basically, telling me this is what it is. You lost status, and these people are looking down upon you because you gave up status, and now you have no status, and now you're getting old. And your people, your audience is not going to like you when you come back. Nothing's going to change, but I'll let you come back to the internet. She's psychic, she was right, but not about everything. You know, I did expect a little bit more coming back to the internet, that you would appreciate me being right and coming back, but I'm not really feeling the love. And there's really very few emails. There's no emails from the feminine, and that is really needed for me to have an attitude shift that y'all are waking up. And in this world, I've seen you give men that are tall men plenty by the thousands of attentions and comments. It's because I'm small, it's because I'm not popular, that people think that I'm not worth even listening to because I'm not part of the popular status. And that right there, my friend, is the genius amongst a population of monkey women that gets it. But I don't have permission to share her voice. But I have permission to share her transcripts. And it's about the social ape hierarchy, her words, not mine, and how humans are mind-fucked into thinking that there's something that they're not. Okay, so there's no woman more intelligent than I know on that level that's in the truth movement, but she's not in the truth movement. She's just a person. But see, that's the spark that drew me out of the shithole that I was in to another area. And sure, it's been tough and it's been painful. And I thought about running away. You know, again, run away, run away, run away if you want to survive. Hey, sometimes in a teenage situation, a girl should run away from a father if he's a molester. And in some cases, she should stay with Poppy, stay at home if the boyfriend's no good and dad is good. All right? So I moved and I quit marijuana because I believed I let the haters influence me, that my problems were marijuana related. They never were. That's crazy. That's psychopathic. That's cruel, especially when marijuana has become accepted at such a massive level. So one of the ways in which I've been specifically gaslighted by demons in my audience is the marijuana thing, or the allegation of marijuana psychosis. It's the only thing that they've got, or you must be a schizoid, you must be autistic. They don't have anything. They don't have any intellect. Even their attempts to berate me and abuse me is pale by comparison to a woman who I'm developed a desire to have a friendship with a month ago. What she said to me was far more harsh than things that most men say. Women can be very, very cruel to trigger you to suicide yourself without acting like they know what they're doing or saying with their words of accusations of cult leadership. Well, no, all you're trying to do is stop the rape of their coochie. It's actually quite horrifying. And so that whole time, you know, and I kept talking with like, when am I going to get an email? When are my exes going to contact me? When am I going to be? And then the sense that I got from the intuitive, these people still never gave a fuck about me. They're sniffing around for resources because some of them might have been curious if they can come to my land during COVID. Pause for awkward 30 seconds. Are you ready for the Jeopardy theme? Or are you ready to bounce? Because I'm getting real. Here, let me hum it for you. Nah, nah. And now think about people chasing status and illusions and not liking the real, authentic you. Think about your life, not me. Let's make it about you, honey. Nah, nah, nah. Let's make it about you, honey. People judging you based on your titties. People judging you based on your wrinkles. People judge. Now think about someone being judged by their height, judged by their status, judged for being homeless. Now, when I had the land, that was the opportunity for women to travel to me. And there was one named Mary. It's very awkward when a woman who's in a marriage talks about visiting you. Two married women with jealous men talked about visiting me. They never visited me, and they stopped talking to me because they made their men jealous. And I'm thinking this through. Where are the single women with the hot bods that like nature, that are anti-racist? I don't want to say Antifa, but allegedly rage against the system. The idea of the women of our culture rage against the system is the biggest joke and crock I've ever fucking heard. Ha! They just like Rage Against the Machine, the fucking band, and riding with the monkeys in the streets of Portland. They ain't trying to change shit. Otherwise, they'd email me. And that's the Pepsi challenge. You know what's emailing and fucking is not the same thing. For those of you that are just so fucked by the Archons, you don't know what planet you're on, cunt. And so it's quite simple. I was so abandoned and feeling abandoned. And on Facebook, there must have been hundreds of people that showed me their teeth. Sometimes people come back later and say, oh, you blocked me from Facebook. Well, everybody mostly that was blocked from Facebook showed themselves at one point to become possessed by Facebook. So while I may have forgotten while I blocked someone on Facebook, it likely was for a awesome, logical reason. Also on Facebook, you could see the demon faces a little bit more clearly when people overly upload their ugly ass. And you're like, holy shit, bro. I know I hit the heavy bag, but I'm not fucking with you, dude. And so if anybody ever insulted me, then come back to apologize. Don't be offended if I stay in my own little corner, because I need to analyze someone for a couple of years to make sure that they're not completely bipolar as they shift their worldview on me. That scares me a little. That scares me a little when there's a lack of consistency. If you ever want to impress me, hang around for a couple of years, do a check-in every couple of months, and I'll never forget your name. What happens is people come and go with the planetary alignments and the lunar cycles and the solar cycles. And because I'm a solar baby, when I'm around the right people, and I'm not talking too fast, I'm an activator, I'm an energizer bunny. Ryan used to say that to me in a complimentary way. The problem is, if I want to energize them with the truth, it will burn their shaitan and they will feel sick. Not to the point where they will vomit, although I've seen Steve vomit. Bags, who's in prison in Utah. That's another case of a demonic possession situation where he got into a conflict with his wife, claimed that she became possessed, claimed that she did a false claim on him. Then he started fighting the cops, got upset that he had a case, ended up threatening people, ended up in the penitentiary. And so let's pray for the man known as Steve Bags with 2 G's. But I can tell you right now, the dude had sex demons, fuck strippers in Portland. And when you're super carnal like that, it doesn't surprise me if you flip out. And if you draw to you a skank bitch whore that will destroy your fucking life. Okay, if you, and my friend was very good on understanding this, if you fuck around and find out with the whores of the world, don't be surprised if you like a bad girl if she basically sees you as bad. You want a good girl. And a lot of men out there, they like bad girls. And they want to complain and cry when the bad girl fucks his friend. Okay? God. I'm trying to make sure I'm on the right screen here. I'm going through a slideshow, but let me make sure that we're on me. I'm using new software in case you did not notice. Let me just recenter myself. All right. So I ended up quitting marijuana and then seeing psychiatrists because I had insomnia. And when I moved here, I wore the COVID mask because I was afraid of China stalking me at Walmart. Yep. China, 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 China. Yep. Can I get an amen? Any empathy? I was concerned. And so I have empathy for the hottie chicks with the COVID mask. I think we should be buddies. High five. No? All right. Go fuck yourself then. The thing is this. I felt wigged out about being back in the city around people, and I felt really allergic. So I went from Pagosa Springs, so you know, and I got out of the off-grid land. They gave me housing, which never happened before, but I gave it up. I already talked about it because the energy there was horrible. And I already talked about it. Drug addicts, dead people, smart meters, prostitutes, drunken Indians knocking on my door, me becoming an alcoholic, me calling the cops on my neighbor because it sounded like he was raping and beating women. And see, my exposure to domestic violence, white guys beating white women, was higher than average in Colorado. And that really hurt my feelings. And it really solidified the white supremacy reality that I was living in that my predominantly white audience was still denying, i.e., white women ignoring me and being with some abusive Viking drunk in the forest who sounds like he's going to murder and rape her and eat her like a monster. Ooga, jaga, ooga, 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 jaka. It hurts, folks. It really, really hurts to hear that. All right? So I just want you to know that. And so it's because of that and other things that I knew that I had to leave. All right. And I went to the church called Crossroads, and I cried at that church. And I told them what happened. I think I did a podcast like this, but not a video. If you want to email me and talk about it, if you're a counselor, if you provide therapy, if you know anything about CPTSD and you're not a closet racist who's defensive about me being psychic and seeing the true you, then email me. And let's talk about healing if you're not a demon. But I need people of the angelic lot to help me heal from this robbery that feels like that has occurred to my income. I lost out in a massive amount of income, and a lot of that income went to my teeth. And in the end, they won't finish my implant. All that money spent on the teeth and on fast food was a waste. Everything, it's okay. Everything that I worked for is gone. But I put into a car, but the car is a piece of crap. And my friend who's partially psychic is like, you did not pick the right car. And so you need to understand that my trauma is not over. When my car dies, and it's coming, and I'm carless, I will not be able to replace it. And my audience right now does not donate anymore. That is in my past, having audience members that donated when I needed it. That is not our future. Meaning a lot of us, including yourself, might be going into a deeper level of poverty than you predicted. My mom's right about a lot of things. My mom's right about a lot of things, but like a lot of women, half psychics, she's wrong also, hardcore. So is my buddy, so is my friend, so is me, so is Gypsy Fox. The thing is with psychics, you got to take us with a grain of salt. That same mechanism that can be tapped into really deep, deep truths is that same mechanism that can confuse you. These cell phones, let's talk about are going to lead the demons to the women through the tracking system. These cell phones provided with the government are helping the criminal migrants commit crimes in New York and robberies, where 15 people will surround one couple. They're afraid of it returning to the 70s at the West Side Rag Facebook page and group and comment section, which I read and study, West Side Rag. They're dumb fuckers in the West Side of New York. They're not together in the brain. They don't do YouTube videos. They're not journalists. They're not deep thinkers. They're party chasers. They're clout chasers. They're not legit folks. In other words, they don't have it together enough in the Upper West Side to forecast what's coming next with China and Russia. They're literally waiting for candy to fall out of the sky, and the deepest they can go as far as intellectualism is fearing the 1970s returning, the old New York, which is basically Taxi Driver, and Taxi Driver Gnosis is the lonely spiritual guy who just wants a girlfriend, like me, but can't because he's in a smut, dirty prostitution world. And there he is, lonely as hell. In 1976, right before things were getting really bad, in 1977 and 78 in New York. And then he's trying to talk to that girl, and she won't talk to him after he takes her to a porno. Not the best move. But it was the 70s. What they were doing, playing on the big screen, I don't know. But basically, he goes back through work in that famous scene in Taxi Driver and is like, you're in a hell, and you're going to die in hell. Now, the face, who is this lady? Who is this face that looks like the other lady? That's a face who I said in a local chat, I'm fighting human trafficking. I'm exposing these things. Please get back to me and let me give you my channel. Nobody gives a fuck. And so we're in a simulation. What your role and who you are in the simulation, I don't have all those answers. But here's a woman saying, let's be honest, it's not Christian to look like that. Then we have videos like this, why girls hate nice men. And I don't watch that video because it breaks my heart. I don't want to be a cruel dude. And if women want a bad boy, adjust your sight and see that I already am an alpha bad boy. I'm fighting your masters. I'm fighting your boyfriend, Satan. Okay? And so people need to stop spreading their legs and directing attention to the world of physicality. And they need to focus on spirit. You have no idea my levels of research. My mother doesn't understand my levels of knowledge, nor does she ask. Not a slam, mummy. Maybe you should ask one day. How deep is your knowledge base? These two beautiful white women talked about Dion Fortune. That puts them in my favor. So be careful, little ones. The more you look into the screen, the more you will become hypnotized. And so it's because of that reality, baby. There the girls are running from the Gaza terror attacks. Little girl without a good man, with a scumbag Frankenstein giant who hates you. Do you have your running shoes yet? Our world is as fake as the fight between Tyson, and Jake Paul. What a ugly dude, that Jake Paul. I mean, you want to talk about an ugly white man? I mean, there's plenty of beautiful white men, and I'm not gay. But that dude is ass ugly, including everybody who's his fan. You think by me being nice that it encourages emails to come in? Guys need me to be a bit raw and meaner. These people were beat up for coming to the aid of a woman being beaten herself. So I like to work on my psychic abilities when it comes to circular motion in the gym. And so in that time period that I stopped using marijuana and I stopped uploading to the internet around October 2019, my depression got worse. And I deleted a lot of my content. Then I was giving commands to my friend to remove this, remove that, and she ignored me. And I told her they're going to come for me because I know too much. Nonstop for a year looking out the window. This person's after me. This person's stalking me. This person's coming for me. You know, everything you'd expect from the typical, I'm a gang stalking victim person, only this time it was real. And it was in a world and a genre of conspiracy theory where people don't actually care if you have stalkers. They care about fake theories about TIs and voice to skull. They don't have compassion for real world stalking and harassment, slander. And I was passed up for work because I was slandered. So I left Pagosa because I was slandered. And I believe that eventually I would be murdered because those people that lived in Pagosa were straight up neo-Nazis that had the ISIS hunter thing and everything. And I just was like, wait a minute. This hatred that they have in Colorado influenced whoever in Colorado or whoever did that video, Warcock, about me, who was trying to lead people to me. And so there were a number of black magicians and Satanists that popped up around March 2019, 7 of them. So beware of that number 7. It's not always of God. And people that do the 888, that worship richness and pussy and college degrees, beware of the 888 Satanists, the realist 888 Satanists. Be aware of that. They're out there. They're not of God. They don't even know what God's name is. So the truth is, like, we are a bastardized society that the true God is going to humble, right? My friend's mom knows that the grid's going away. The old lady at the gym knows that the grid's going away, the market. They may not be ready for the real meal deal at 25 countdown, but they're feeling the tone in the wind. And so by the time 2022 came with the spy balloon, I was like, I have to come back to the internet because by that time I took several drugs to deal with the insomnia and dealt with health problems, including fatty liver disease, which I assume I'm over or am recovering from. I had stomach pain. I lost my vision. I couldn't orgasm. I couldn't develop a stiffy. I couldn't develop pleasure. I developed an addiction for carbs. I blew up to 205 pounds. I stopped watching pornography. I watched the mainstream media instead. I stopped watching all conspiracy theories. I stopped answering emails. And I began to counter stalk places where they were talking about me or having people do it and kept praying for people to receive my telepathic message in a bottle, yeah. And I would pick up on thinking about certain people and them contacting me, but only in a few, and usually people that I knew. And then the extreme sense of psychic attack when a guy named Charles barged into my Facebook group around summer of 2020. Hi, I'm Charles, ski instructor from New Mexico. Hi, how are you? I like Alex Jones, New Mexico, and you. Hi, Alex Jones, you. Hi, I'm a ski instructor in Mexico. Like every email would start out with the same, like, okay, dude, I got it. And you can just tell, bro, this is weird. This exchange is weird with this person. That was weird. He barged into the group. It's like, are you with Antifa? What are you going to say about this? Just because I was from Portland and he saw me as not a Trump fan, it seemed like he was also possessed also by the solar flare angry July 2020 energy to where he's screaming at me in my chat room as if I'm responsible or something. as if I have to answer for Portland or something. After years of bashing Portland, what type of a nutbag would expect me? And so I just deleted my whole group of 400 people because of one mentally ill person. What was clear to me at that time, though, and what motivated that, and deleting or removing half my videos, is I realized that I was becoming abnormally psychic. And my friend was the best teacher. Never had a teacher out of you guys that taught me that when we are on the internet, people will think about us and talk about us. But when we leave the internet and we're not on YouTube and we're not on the servers, they forget about us. Now that I'm back online, I can be online all day and you're numb to it. It doesn't mean anything. But when I wasn't online, it was like, where is he? And I attribute all that to not really liking me, but get ready for it. And if the shoe fits, wear it. Energy vampirism. Have you heard of it? Because if you were just obsessed with where I was for years, but now you don't give a fuck, maybe now you know what energy vampirism is. Now, if someone was generally concerned whether I was alive or dead, that's sort of thing for an email, don't you think? Not something to be speculated about in a random comment section with random people with headlines like Green Man 123. Oh, I like him. I wonder where he is too. And then watching a extremely mentally ill, I wouldn't even call her an ex, but woman that I stayed with in Colorado who was a big time druggie, pharmaceutical drugs. It went full on possession. It is terrifying when you're a public speaker and you meet or sleep with mentally ill women that never stop watching your channel. You know what I mean? The ickiness of these nasty, dirty demon women that I stuck my cock in, the sickness and the disgusting from that before marriage fornication, and that should never happen. I mean, I remember that one particular Kim woman said, either you're gonna fuck me or I'm gonna find somebody who will. All right, so it's not always the situation that I can walk into in which I as a man can be respected for the godly person that I am or aspiring to be an angel. And so a lot of men and women, we will be used as flesh meat in this flesh farm. And what I was trying to do a few months ago, and you saw me post about it, was mentor someone that I believed or perceived based on what she said to be an abuse victim in another country. All I was trying to do, and still am trying to do, because she watches, is mentor with spirituality without you statements, because I'm not going to stop. Only a crazy person would think that this is a cult. A cult and a narcissist would not leave the internet for 4 years and would not shut down. And so why did I shut down PayPal? Why did I shut down Patreon? Because I believed that it was stealing to accept money from you if I was not uploading. And what I noticed was I told people, leave now on Patreon. I'm not going to upload anymore. Leave now. I'm not going to upload. And they wouldn't leave. I literally had to kick them out and stop taking their money. And so when it comes to the topic of people not listening, not paying attention, not caring, not being tapped in, it's a very, very deep rabbit hole that involves both you and me and our relations. All right? So by the time 2023 rolled around, David Icke was foaming at the mouth, labeling everybody a piece of shit who immigrated into France from the Middle East. And it was very clear to me that he and his association with Alex Jones had really infected his mind. And he had become a legitimate crazy person in my eyes that I was always warned about, that David Icke always was, an official nutbag from hell, who started out right in the beginning, then ended up just completely hateful. And two of you stopped watching. Hey, did you even do anything to promote David Icke back in the day? You're cult members. If you cannot criticize spiritual people that lose their shit and become hateful, and they don't support false flag news, the idea that there are many 9/11s that are being manufactured by the government. If David Icke and Alex Jones are going to flow away from that, I will have nothing to do with that. And I purchased or downloaded his book, The Trap. David Icke's book. I sat there and listened to it. And I listened to the book, The Trap. I stopped listening to it because it was fucking crap. The dude just repeats himself and tells a stupid cult leader story about his fucking origin story, and he doesn't talk about God. He doesn't talk about solar flares. He doesn't talk about human trafficking. Any type of rape of the female is always an alien. And there's never any accountability for white supremacy. It does not exist. He's an idiot if he thinks you're blaming white people if you acknowledge white supremacy. He's an idiot. And so is my audience if you're confused. Fighting white supremacy is supporting white people. Fighting white supremacy is stand against the white genocide that's coming when they blame most of America for what a few Nazis did. Get it? Got it? Good. And educate Alex Jones that I'm a good man. Got it? Good. Because some of you know him. Thank you for the likes. Let's get back to the story. My mom, I wish my mom liked me. Said 3 times like Beetlejuice. I wish my mom liked me. And then the caveat comes next. I wish my mom liked me off drugs. I told her, leave me alone when I was on drugs. And she's like, oh, hell no. The COVID locked me in. I'm coming. It was not an option. And I told her, our issues are not resolved. I'm pissed at you. And I'm going to be pissed at you when you're here. So she came and she stayed at a local motel. And I'm telling you, I felt so bad. But because of everything in my life story that my friend knew, and because she's psychic, she never felt that my mom actually liked me. So my mom was never permitted to stay in the house. Because as a psychic, she knew that the issues and the negative racist white supremacy, because she picked up on it too, okay? Way in which my mom was raised, she had not yet healed from, and what she had did from me. She wanted to have a festive get together, and that really was awkward, because if that's what she wanted, you should have done it before COVID when I still had my land. You had the chance, you had the money. I will never believe that you didn't. And so some people, they will wait and wait until it's too late for your son to be able to formulate a smile. Furthermore, there was no real discussion face to face. All right, so I felt miserable and sad for her and embarrassed that every day I would take her out for 1 hour, 2 hours. I'm so embarrassed to tell you the story. And then drop her off at this shitbag motel that later threatened to call the cops on me when their phones wouldn't work for the Coast to Coast show. That's my bad for not reading the reviews for that hotel. I felt sorry for her and angry with my friend for not encouraging her to be here, because that's what I wanted. And that's what my mom wanted. What would have been nice was a reunion in Gnosis Springs, but you can't have a reunion if you can't address certain systemic issues. She wanted to go to the petting zoo. I thought that was abnormally childish. Okay, she wanted to go here. She sounded like she wanted a date rather than to heal things with her son. You know what I mean? Let's go here. Let's look at this. No, let's look eye to eye and hold the eye contact. And if you can't do that with your family relatives on a Zoom call, do not permit them to visit you in the future. You must hold their feet to the fire, metaphorically, and make them address the issues before they come and meet. Because if there is a thing called demonic attachments, they may want to come when your aura is weak to pass on something, maybe a little gift for later. And so I became paranoid. You're going to love this one. That she came in to pass on an entity that would then attack my car. Did you like that one? Yeah. Welcome to the world of family conspiracy theories, where everybody's a conspiracy theorist and the theories just go on and on and on into infinitum. And so there was never any, it was completely, and then I tried to reconnect with my father because I didn't want to connect with you. I needed somebody. I need somebody. And I called my mom and she's like, oh my God, it's you. Now, my dad, when he had my number, he never tried to call me. What he did was send a long, long letter on Facebook bragging about how awesome his life was. And then when I sent him a long letter, he never responded. And then when I brought it up, he's like, bro, you wrote like a 5-page letter without breaks, bro. It was sent under Facebook IM. You put me to sleep. I put you to sleep. You, you know, Mortal Kombat sound of that. Come here, you know, put you to sleep. I'll put you to sleep, punk. You sit there and you translate documents for a genocidal military-industrial complex who jacks off to killing your people. And you have the testicles to tell your son who's been traumatized by white supremacy, when your brain house got your ass kicked in the streets of Portland, Oregon, and people thought you were a fucking Mexican. What kind of a fucking demon are you? And so experiencing that, and the letter he sent me was a stab in my heart. You're going to be 43 soon. You need to think about your life. You need to think about what you're doing. What are you doing? Where are you going? And he was talking to me like I was a little boy. My friend was right. Daniel Mackler is right. Any type of reconciliation with your parents will blow up in your face. And when they often want to reconcile, it's because they want you to take care of them because they're old. It's nature. And that's the lesson for my mother and others. If that's what you were planning for all these years, you have to plan for that day way in advance. You have to nurture your child, work with your child, build up your child's self-esteem. Telling me that I deserve to be in a mental hospital, which my mother did, is not the steps to take to improve a situation. Screaming on the telephone, when I declare I will never incarnate with you voluntarily in a future lifetime. All she could say was, you're the therapy woman. You healed the past from me and there's therapy. There's no therapy from this jackass homo. I mean, and that's really telling about modern women that don't know about the dangers of pharmaceuticals and that real world therapy doesn't exist. And mom or dad healing the pain is the therapy. I just got to throw that in there for people that are brainwashed. And so my mother is very damaged in many, many ways, also through addictions, those known, those unknown. That the New York lifestyle made her a new person. And not the one that you would take home to mom. Kind of Russian dolls there. Take mom home to mom. Anyway. Take the biological mom to beat the fake replacement mom. Everybody needs a second childhood. So thank you for watching. We are going to leave here now. I was so afraid for my mom taking the local mass transit. And was a little perturbed that she was vocally very little concerned about her safety, because I consider this place to be super dangerous for older white women. And so whatever cockiness she has going on with regards to crime, where she really gets her confidence from in a world of bad people running everywhere, we're going to stop the speculations in 2024 because I already made them and they weren't pretty. No matter how angelic or how beautiful you are, how ascended you are, anybody on this planet could be a victim of a crime. Nobody should be going through life going, it's your karma, you deserved it, you should be locked up, and thinking that they're spreading cheer. Nobody should be going, here's a present, now that fixes the past, now we're good now, right? You got stuff. That's what abusers do when they rape and beat women. They buy them gifts and candy to get them back in the what? The bedroom! Guess what, honey? I ain't no bitch. Put them on the glass. And so let's talk about it. The very words said to you were the same said to my mother in 2020. You don't even know who I am. And what that is a far more normal statement than you might think. I'm not a dumbass. I'm not an idiot. Okay? I'm not a nobody. You don't even know who I am. I am a person of prominence. I am rich in spirit. I am God's ass in the ground. You don't know how many asses are on the ground, but there might be, in general, a 144,000 or 120,000. I identify as one of them, the guardians of our galaxy, of our planet. All right? She never co-signed that. And so I told her it was a combination of her not supporting me that I quit the internet. It was partially that and partially others, not caring about me being slandered and not even having the compassion to realize that when that happens, somebody may have marked you for death and assassination. And so in a day and age where people are only talking about Donald Trump and the plight of Alex Jones, I felt really insulted and humiliated by my audience when I became a subject of targeting. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching. I just felt that God wanted me back to take the risk of getting killed, to remind you that I warned you about what's coming with China. And guess what? Here we go.